Welcome back, Braveheart Nation, and this is it. So this is our second Q&A of the day. Our first Q&A was at 10 o'clock this morning. And listen, I want to thank the callers this morning because guess what? I don't make the show. You make the show, okay? And we're going to be talking here for a few minutes. And then I just want to know that the first caller in is going to receive a 6-week tea of the cleansing tea. If you've never had it, you're going to want to do it. And if you've had it before, trust me, you can call in. We're still going to give it to you free. This is to kick off all the other people that are a little bit scared to ask questions. Understand something. You know what? You can pay for a consultation, and we're going to build you the perfect day. But guess what? Here we are today, and here I am, ready to answer your questions. So look it. Don't be shy. Dial 1-888-570-9445, and we're going to be taking callers. And understand something. Callers are what I talk to, okay? Because I want to talk to real people. The texting age and the email age is starting to get to me a little bit. There's a breakdown in communication, and you're never going to get yourself well if we don't play ping pong, where we bounce it back and forth until we can figure out what is the real answer for you, okay? So again, welcome everybody. I'm glad you joined me. And like I said, the call-in number, it should be up there. You know it, and I'll let you know as soon as we're going to take the call-ins. So let me ask you a question. Are you ready to take your health and healing to the highest level? I'd love you to join us for the Braveheart Retreat that we're doing. This is all about transformation, mind expansion. I'm actually putting this retreat on with Mary Phillips, and it's going to be in Palm Springs, okay? And it's going to be at the Lido Resort in Palm Springs, California. And it's September the 16th to the 2nd. Now, to the 21st, sorry. From the 16th to the 21st in September. And understand something. Only 16 people, all right? Once it's filled, it's filled, okay? And I'm going to tell you something. This will be a life-changing experience that will profoundly impact your life on an emotional and physical level for the rest of your life, okay? We will be offering lots of exciting energy medicine equipment, and I will be doing nutritional consultations, personal consultations. We'll also be doing deep tissue. You've got a knee problem, ankle problem, you got a neck problem, sinusitis, you've got a fibroid going on in your pelvis, or you've got anything like calcium deposits in your breast. Look at it. If you've got TMJ problems, I promise you that you're not going to. We're going to get rid of them, okay? You've never seen anything like Wolfe Deep Tissue before, and I give you a money-back guarantee that I will accomplish more in the first treatment than has ever been done with you before. And we will go beyond your expectations with not just the treatments, but with this whole staying at Lido Resort and what we're doing. Okay, so every room comes with kitchenette. It comes with robe, towels, Braveheart lectures by me every day. Raw food, raw juices, yoga, strength training, hot sauna, mineral springs. Okay, a night hike. Okay. And also evening cardio, tennis. Also, we're going to be having a festive night under the stars with a DJ. Come on. Who doesn't want to do this? Seriously. Okay? And then you'll see that I truly am a fun guy without drugs. Okay? All right? So this is the way it is. Everybody that's coming is going to let loose, and they're going to learn how to discover themselves. We'd love to see you there. Go to itioh.com. if you want more information, and then call me personally at the clinic. I'll go through everything with you and why you don't want to miss this, all right? And then on Wednesday, July the 18th, which is tomorrow, I will be interviewing Clayton Nolte, the founder of Natural Actions Structured Water Unit, and a live Q&A at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube, and on DocStar TV. So, we want to see you there. We want you with your questions because, man, structuring water, it's the most amazing thing you've ever seen in your life. Okay? Wednesday, July the 25th, I've got the amazing Dr. Marlene Siegel will be joining us on PetStar at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the next Braveheart is 2 weeks from today. Tell your friends. Tell your family. You know what? look at, until we become a priority and we start really going inside, you're never going to truly have the answers. And you know, there's a saying, unless you go within, you're going to do without. And there's a lot of people doing without out there, and they don't need to, okay? All right? And the next thing is, for those who would like, if you call in the office, we will send you out a free copy of my book. You only pay the shipping. And if you want to get your family and friends involved in a gentle, loving way, send them to braveheartlibrary.com, okay? And have them listen to the audios and the booklets. Now, today, I have a friend with me, and my friend is Clint, right? How you doing, Clint?
Terrific.
Okay. All right. So Clint has been coming to the clinic for how long?
For 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
With my wife.
That's right. With your wife. Okay. So anyways, Clint, can you tell us a little bit of the story before you came, when you came, and understand, what is your age?
84.
84 years old. Now, can an old dog be trained new tricks?
Absolutely.
And you're no dog, and guess what? These aren't tricks. Okay? So the reality is here is it's never too late to change, is it?
Never too late. No.
Okay, so have I affected you any way on your emotional level?
Very, very positive.
Okay, so what?
To learn to love myself more.
Yeah, and do you think you did before we met?
Not like I am now.
Yeah.
I'm number one now.
Okay. And so, you know, Clint loves to dance, okay? So if there's anybody out there that thinks that they can keep up with him, he'll dance your pants off, okay? And I mean that in a good way. So the reality is you go dancing still like 3 times a week, don't you?
At least.
Yeah, and we should, you know what? Sometime I'm going to go again, and I'll do a video, and I'll show everybody. You know, you've never seen anybody dance like this at 84 years old. I mean, he's dancing with the young girls that are in their 60s, and they can't keep up with you, can they?
No, they can't.
No. So, and that's a lot of mind over matter, isn't it?
It is, very much.
Yeah, it is.
If you think you're young, you're young.
Okay, so I'm going to leave the floor to you. Why don't you tell people what you think is important? And well, I don't know. And remember, this was not planned, right? I just kind of said, you're doing it. And he said, okay.
So I've been onto life extension most of my life because my father was disabled. And I didn't want to end up like him. For example, I had the amalgam taken out of my teeth in 1981 when not many dentists were doing it.
Right.
Been the same weight or less all my life.
Yeah.
Haven't gained weight. Lost a lot of weight when my wife died and lost my hair. But you said I had to keep going. So I'm doing that.
Do you want to tell them any part of that story, or do you want to leave that alone?
Well, I asked you to help me commit suicide.
Yeah.
And a number of times.
But I did say yes, though, didn't I?
Initially, you said yes.
I promised you that if you did the 33-day Braveheart training
Yes.
and it didn't work out, that I would kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the deal. But guess what? He forgot his training because I even trained him this. What does everybody do?
What do you mean, what do they do?
What does everybody do?
I don't know what you're referring to.
Everybody what? Lies?
Well, yeah, I know.
So I lied to you.
Yeah, you lied to me, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody does it.
So why don't you tell them whatever you want to tell them about the story?
I found out about you on the internet.
Yeah.
And I didn't know there was this amazing doctor right here in town.
Okay, well, okay.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
Okay, good.
I'm not trying to, you know. And so I've been taking supplements all my life. I've stayed away from alcohol and tobacco. Did a lot of dancing, a lot of walking, tried to stay positive, tried to be kind and gentle with people. And eat organically. Of course, when I was young, I didn't have to eat organically because everything was organic. And society has changed a lot. You can't get all your nutrients in vegetables today, so you have to take supplements to stay young and healthy. As I say, I like to dance. I'm going up to Vernon and going to be Mike's best man.
Yeah.
This weekend. So I'll do some dancing up there as well.
Yeah.
And
can I tell a little story? Is it okay?
you can tell any stories. I don't
So
mind.
Rose and is that okay if I tell that
You
story?
can say anything you want. Yeah.
Okay. So Rose and Clint were coming into us, and we were actually doing the deep tissue, right? We
Yes.
worked on your hips, right?
Yeah, well, terrific. And you worked on my prostate.
Yeah.
And gave me my youthfulness back, sexually speaking.
Yeah, well, that's that. This we have to wait until at least after 9 o'clock to get into that one. Okay, so, anyways, so Rose and Clint were beautiful together, and they were beautiful dancers. And Rose passed on, and like I said, you know, so think about this, and I want you all to think about this. I'll tell you what I told Clint. Is it okay, Clint?
You can say anything you want.
So I told Clint that, you know, because what happens when our loved ones pass on, we feel really bad. And we just want to go with them, don't we?
Yeah, and I cried continually for 90 days.
Yeah. And the thing is that I would keep telling him, and, you know, I said to him, you know, Rose left her body behind, but her spirit is already on to her next adventure. And, you know, we're eternal. And the time that you're going to spend here, Clint, without Rose is going to be not even measurable in universal time. And the reality is that it was time for Rose to go, but it was time for, and I know this is hard, but it was time for Clint to stand on his own.
And move on.
To stay here, yeah, and find joy and happiness without Rose.
Yes.
Now that is the challenge that he needed to embrace, and it wasn't easy, was it?
No, but I followed your instructions.
Yes.
Tried to stay positive.
Yes.
And go out and date other women.
Yes. And I pushed him to it, and I said, look, if you don't do this, you're not doing any justice by Rose. You know, you leaving and me taking your life right now, Clint, right, yeah, is not going to accomplish anything.
No.
You're supposed to finish the game as a Braveheart hero.
Yes. And you made me, or you suggested I go dancing right away, which I did.
Yeah, well, I suggested it and you got mad at me. And you told me that if you did, that Rose would be upset, and what would all the other people think at the dance? And I said, who gives a you know what? And I said, listen, you get your dance on. And I said, you go there tonight and don't you listen to anyone. Did anybody say anything?
No.
No. See, it's all in the head.
It's all in the head, yes.
All right. So I want to know why that you don't deserve to totally love yourself, to totally be happy, and put on your dancing shoes and dance all the way.
That's what I'm doing.
I know you are now.
Yes.
Okay.
So I listen to you.
Yeah.
Well, I listen to you all the time.
And I promise never to lie to you again, but guess what?
You might.
Yeah, I probably will.
Yeah.
Because that's the nature of the beast.
Yes.
Yes. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I've enjoyed visiting with you.
Okay.
I love you.
Yeah.
And I'll be around.
Okay, Clint. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
And I'll be with everybody in a minute. And there goes a beautiful spirit. And I think that we all have something... on you. You mean so much. Okay? Never give up on you. All right? And here's the problem. You can be the most beautiful person in the world. And if you don't have any love for yourself in your heart, or if you only have 10 or 15%, you have an 85% chance of suicide, drugs, alcohol, or going into depression, or doing nasty things to yourself for the rest of your life. I don't know anybody more beautiful than you. Let's take a caller. Hi.
Hi, it's Kathy, Dr. Wolfe, or Darrell. How are you?
I'm great. Kathy,
All
Mrs.
right,
Carpenter, whoever you are.
Right. Well,
Hi.
it was. I'm calling in. I called in earlier, so I wanted to share a story with the callers of the group, if that's okay.
Oh, no, it's not okay. It's just amazing. Thank you so much. So now, you know, Kathy, I know that you don't really need it, but make sure that the next time you order that you get your 6-week tea, okay?
Oh, that's correct. Thank you.
I have to follow through. Okay?
Very nice.
All right.
Thanks for the reminder.
Okay.
All right. Well, I called in earlier for all the callers. I'll just recap. I called in to Darrell earlier. I had a question. I've been doing the braid part for quite some time now, about, I guess, 7-8 months. And I called in earlier because we're changing our behaviors, and we're trying to model the right behavior of loving ourselves, and we're teaching our children to learn to love themselves. And my son, who's 7, is doing pretty well with it, but my daughter, who's 5, is struggling a little bit, and she seems to really need a lot of attention. And so whenever my husband pays more attention to me or to others, it seems to be like with my husband not paying attention to her, she really seems to get upset. And she screams and yells and she hits. And it's very little we can do to get her to calm herself down. And so what we called in earlier, and Darrell gave me the wonderful advice to basically, when she does this, that the rest of us leave the room or leave the house and just go outside and let her kind of work it out. And we've been not wanting to do that, just, not wanting her to feel like we're abandoning her or whatever. But we tried this today. So right after the call, not shortly after, the kids were outside eating their lunch outside, and my husband was out there. I was in the house, and my daughter started hitting my son for no reason. Whatever, she decided she was upset with him and started hitting him. So my husband said, "Come on, Drew, let's go in the house and we'll eat inside." And so they came in, and she kept coming to the screen door and putting her head against the door and saying, "You're mean," to my husband. And she did this for about 3 to 5 minutes, back and forth. And we just stayed in the house, and everybody was eating their lunch and doing their thing. And then she finally came with her plate, humbly to the door and wanted to come in. And she was being, very nice and happy. So I wanted to share that. Thank you very much for that advice, because it worked perfectly. It was perfect, because I think what we've seen happening is we try to stay strong, like standing and not giving in, and then my husband eventually gives in to her because she continues to ask over and over and over and over and over. And so what we did today really worked, so thank you. And I just wanted to share that story with everybody.
Thank you so much. And if I can say something, Kathy, you know what? That takes a brave family. I'm dealing with a family right now here, and I just went through an issue this afternoon. This family, one of the people that are here staying at the Oasis condo in training right now with us to learn emotional and nutritional and the deep tissue. Well, we just went through an issue with their 2-year-old son. And I'm telling you, I know what it's like. We have to lovingly hold the line. We're not abusive, but understand something. You weren't negotiating with your daughter's heart or her spirit. What you were doing is you were lovingly holding the line against subconscious beliefs that are controlling your daughter to make her into a little bit of a tyrant. And I will tell you, you have to understand, you're not punishing your daughter. You're going to repeat this enough times that the subconscious says there's a new game in town, and that's called honor, respect my parents and myself, and to just live in love. So if it takes her, no matter what, 3 more days, 3 more weeks, 3 more months, guess what? This is the best gift that you can have. So when she's not doing this, she gets all the love in the world. And when she's doing this,
that's right,
we're not abusing her. We're just giving it no attention. Okay? Remember what I said before, Kathy. Life is like a river, and everything that floats by, you don't have to have your attention on. Anything that smells and looks like a turd, give it very little notice. Just let it float by. Okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you. And I'll say this, I don't think it was a coincidence that you had Clint on, because my daughter's middle name is Rose.
Oh, wow.
I'm very much paying attention to signs lately, by the way, so I'm picking up on all of them.
Yeah. And do you want to know something, Kathy? They came in every week and brought roses. And ever since she passed on, he brings roses to us every week. God, that chokes me up.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what? That just made me think I'm going to get some roses for my daughter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good girl.
Thank you. That's wonderful. All right.
Kathy, we are so blessed to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
I will. So, there you have it. Life is very touching, and but we need to find our brave heart. We need to lovingly hold the line. You're not just doing it for yourself, everybody. You're doing it for your family. If you love your family, okay, then you'll lovingly hold the line. So We have all created dysfunctional relationships with ourselves and with our family. And we need to let our families know that, you know, there's a new sheriff in town called self-love, and that you are going to love yourself, but you are only going to love your family with more integrity, with more honesty, with more truthfulness. And that will be the bottom line. And guess what? There will be struggles. Because as you change, others will force you not to, and they will not want to change. But it's not from their heart. It's not from their spirit. So understand that. If you do my Braveheart course, or if you go and do your homework and understand that the subconscious is the ruler. And when you become the master of the subconscious and erase the dysfunctional beliefs, and you put in the ones that you design, the authentic ones, the ones that are steeped in love, you know what? Your subconscious is now your faithful, loyal servant. But for 999 people out of 1,000, I'll tell you right now that they are being mastered, schooled, fooled, and ruled by their subconscious. And it happens to everyone, because when we get to this planet, our minds are like a sponge, and our minds just take in everything. It doesn't matter whether daddy's hitting mommy, whether mommy's an alcoholic, whether daddy's a drug addict, okay? Whether daddy uses the F-bomb word all the time, whether daddy eats terrible things. There is no filter on children from the age of in the womb, okay, until 7 years old. And by the time they're 2, all right, 70% of the beliefs they have for the majority of the population are not even dysfunctional. They are steeped in self-hate. Okay? Yeah, I go through everything step by step and through the Braveheart training. But like I said, you can go to braveheartlibrary.com and you can play with this a little bit. And if it doesn't vibrate to where you're at, then I understand. Not everything is meant for everybody. You know, we all come down here for certain lessons. I believe that a person comes down here for all of these lessons, you know. They come down for their illnesses. You know, a lot of people will say, I feel blessed by cancer. It woke me up. My life sucked until I got cancer. The problem is we get sucker punched by the media and by the medical system that it's a death sentence. And I'll tell you right now, the family, I have another family that's here, and their daughter needs eye surgery, and the Mayo Clinic told them just short of a year from now that she needed to have eye surgery, and they need to go in and cut her eyes, and it's really risky. And the Mayo Clinic said that we'll be on your door within 1 year, and if you don't do the surgery, we'll have foster care coming. So understand something. You know, please don't get me wrong, but is this Nazi Germany that we've now entered? Is a hospital a place that you can feel safe and that is doing loving therapies to us, or is it scaring us? Do you feel brutalized? Do you feel forced to do these things? You need to find a doctor that empowers you and empowers who you really are. You were created by God Almighty. And you have to understand something. Your superpower on this planet is your emotions. I've told people, have you ever not got bad news? And when you got the bad news, you were drained of 75 to 80% of your energy. You all of a sudden had a headache. You all of a sudden felt sick to your stomach. And then remember when you heard good news and it was celebration time? Instantaneously, at the snap of a finger, you had 4 times more energy and your pain was gone. So understand, your emotions are your superpower down here. And if you don't want to look after your emotions, then just understand that you're going to have hell on earth. And that's where I think, for me, that's where the only place I've seen hell, and that I really believe it is. So this is the name of the game. You're going to have heaven or you're going to have hell on earth. So, and the thing is there's only love and there's only hate on this planet. So what are you focusing on? What do you see when you go outside? What do you see when you go through your day? You'll know by the way you think and by the way you act. That's going to make and shape your day every day. So understand something. I know you believe that you are your thoughts. I'm going to tell you that you're not. I know that you believe that you are your story. You are your sickness. You are not. You have created that. And if you go back and you listen to if you go back and listen to the morning show at 10 a.m., the first 10 minutes, what I was doing is I was explaining how this all works. And remember something. I have a phone here. If you want to challenge whatever I'm saying, or you have a different point of view, I want to hear it. I want you to bring it forward. Let's discuss it. Let's get it out in the open. If I've got a dysfunctional belief, I'd like to work with that too. But the reality is find the courage to move forward and then learn how to become a braveheart. In my training, I have what's called the 12 self-loving steps. When you learn those, they're so simple and they're so easy to do that when you fall, you'll fall forward. And you got to understand something. I'm going to fall 100 times today, but I don't care how many times I fall, because the only failure in life is when you quit, when you give up on yourself. That is the only time that is a failure. Everything else is not. What do you really think is going on when people tell you that you're not good enough, you're not doing it fast enough? They can go and take that and shove it. Let me tell you something. I don't remember ever coming here before. So I'm going to take my time to learn what I need to learn. And I'm never going to let anybody tell my children when they go to school that they're not geniuses and they're not smart. The education system is the most screwed up system that I know. You know, it's amazing. Anybody comes out of there with any self-esteem. They know nothing about love. They know nothing about finance. And they know nothing about relationships. So understand this. You are not your thoughts and you are not your story. And understand something too. Remember the last time you got punished for something? You didn't need to, did you? You were already punishing yourself. That was just like, giving you that one blow as you tried to get up, because you already knocked yourself down. So don't let anybody disrespect you ever again. Don't let anybody emotionally abuse you or physically abuse you. Do you hear me? And I will tell you, there's a lot of people out there that are running programs that every day at 3:15 they need a slap in the face. And they're looking for it. They're trying to set somebody up to piss them off so that they can get a slap in the face. Because why? To confirm that you're not good enough. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. There is a lot of emotional and physical abuse, and it's in a lot of homes. And I'll tell you something, and yeah, I know you're not going to believe this, but if you don't know what self-love is, then you've got abuse in your home. And that's that right there. So do we have any callers? Nope. Okay. So I want to thank everybody for joining me for the show. The shows don't have to go 2 hours. I'm here to give you something to think about, challenge you with something to do, and then I'm here to answer your questions thoroughly. And if there are no callers, then I've done my job. So I want to thank everybody, and to know that tomorrow I will be on with Clayton Nolte on structured water. We'll be answering questions and for everyone. And it'll be at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And now we have a caller. Hi, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get this thing to work. This is Stanell Brewer. How are you doing?
Hi, Stanell. I'm doing great, thank you.
Good. Well, I have two questions. One is, I've been doing the Braveheart course also for a while, and the one place that I'm getting really stuck with my my 7-year-old daughter is that when she's doing something and we have somewhere to go, and I try to get her going early enough so that I don't have to rush her, but she keeps wanting to diddle daddle, and then I end up having to say, okay, we really got to go now. And so I'm trying to deal with that in a good way, it's not working, and I'm not sure if you have any ideas about that.
Well, where are you going?
Well, anywhere that we have to go, if I'm going to an appointment or, anything that we're going to.
And then there's nobody at home for her, right? Is that it?
Usually not. It's she and I usually during the day, and then we might even go to, like, today we were going to story time for her, we were going to go and we were going to all read a book together and stuff with some other kids. And it was just really hard. It's really hard to stop her from playing with what she's doing at the time and get her going somewhere else.
Well, did you sit down and talk to her and ask her what is her hesitation? Because remember something, Sanel, it's hesitation. So she has a hesitation about some kind of fear. Now, I'm not trying to tell you that it's dramatic. It doesn't have to be. It can be so small, and it doesn't even have to be real. But did you ever notice something, Stanell, when you had a really good idea, or when you got really excited about something and then all of a sudden you started to feel hesitant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what happened? Did you actually end up doing it, or you didn't?
No, I usually would end up getting busy with something else.
That's right. So she's just like you. So the thing is that she doesn't realize that hesitation takes over. And because she's so used to being with you, she is you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So that's not a bad thing. So just understand that everybody's going to go through all this crazy stuff in life because, like I told you that, the way we perceive things, that's how we create this lens. And that's why everybody has a different lens that they see through. Right? So have you ever sat her down and asked her what her hesitation is every time that you go? When you're trying to go, it's no time to try to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is then you should try to talk about it when you're not in a hurry. But find out what her hesitation is and then just say, and then also just say, look, let's be logical. So I have to go and do this running around, or we've made plans to do this, but I'm supposed to leave you at home. So, how's this going to work if every time that we go somewhere, I have to struggle with you to get you in? So what is it? What is the reason for the struggle? Okay? Because ask her, do you have fun with me? She's going to say yes. And then, do you like when we go out? She's going to say yes. So there's something that's stopping her. Okay, whether, would you call her a shy girl?
No, she's really quiet when she first meets someone, but she's not shy at all.
Okay, so she's outgoing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you need to find out what the hesitation is, because there's a trigger. Okay?
I'm wondering if it's this. Could it be, okay, so I've always struggled with being late.
With what?
And in the past couple of years, I've been really careful to take the time to plan, get things in order so that I can be on time. So when
yeah, but your daughter's been with you though since she was born. So
right.
how old? So I know, but how old are you?
Panicky.
How old are you? How old are you?
50.
50. So you're 50 years old and you're just getting on time now.
Yeah, I still stink at it.
I know, but I'm just trying to say that, and we got to let ourselves off the hook, okay? Let yourself off the hook too, because we're just talking about it, but I'm just trying to tell you that she's exactly you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to have to ask her what the hesitation is. And then you're going to have to ask her, are you scared to go out? Get her to answer questions until all the whys are answered. And make sure when you're doing this that you're smiling.
Right.
Because the problem is with adults, they don't smile when they're asking their kids something serious. And you need to smile because you need to be light so that they're light and you keep it light, right? Because the thing is, if you're not smiling, and she even thinks that you're angry just a teeny bit, she's going to lie and tell you she doesn't know why. And it's not because she's a liar. It's survival mode. And what is your subconscious, Stanell? Your subconscious is always in survival mode. It's always going to stop you from doing anything new.
Right.
And believe it or not, if you were even being late when she was in your womb, she was learning how to be late.
Right.
Was she late? Was she late when she was born?
No.
Huh?
No,
Well,
she was not late.
Well, she was on time. Good. Okay.
Well, she did. My water broke the day before, and she didn't come till the following day. I guess that's late.
Yeah, she waited a while, didn't she?
Yeah. Usually you have them right after your water breaks, but.
So be creative. Okay? Be creative with her.
Well, one question, could it be possibly, like, because I've had such a thing trying to be on time, I get a little panicky when time is coming to a close, and I'm worried that she's not going to get with it. And so I've been kind of like, okay, we got to go. Come on, Before I was like that, and now she's kind of resisting it.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Do you lock the door when you leave?
Do I lock the house door?
Yeah.
Sometimes, not the back doors.
Okay, then just go out to the car and start it and say, I'll be out in the car.
That's a good idea.
Did you ever do that?
No, I haven't ever done that.
Okay, just do that. Just get your clothes on and say, I'm going to be in the car. Let's go. I'm going to, then say it in a nice way. Say, hey, let's go. I'm out to the car. And don't turn back. Go out in the car and put on your favorite radio station and just be calm. And just make sure that you leave an extra 10 minutes earlier from now on. Because guess what? She's worth that 10 minutes. Okay, so now she knows that you're going to go to the car and you're not going to do the same thing trying to emotionally drag her out of the house, right?
Right.
So what do you need to do? You need to break the routine. Try something different, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. The hard part is, she's 7 now, so I look to her to get her own shoes, get them on, make sure she goes to the bathroom.
Oh, but I just said you need to leave 10 minutes early. And then that gives her lots of time to think about the shoes and everything else. And while you're in the car, you could practice your Lionheart breathing and learning how to be calm.
Right. Right. Because when this happens, I start feeling trapped and then I get angry.
What's this?
When this has been happening, what I do sometimes is I start feeling trapped because I'm going to be late or, whatever. So then I get angry.
Okay, so what you're actually doing is your subconscious actually sucker punched you into creating this situation so that you could feed this dysfunction. Do you see? It takes two to dance, right?
Right.
Okay, so
I want to break this. I want to break that dysfunction.
Well, the biggest dysfunction is you getting angry. Right? I'm not saying, Stanell, that I don't roar, okay? But I don't roar often. And when I roar, the walls shake. Only for a second, and everybody knows, and the subconscious goes, okay, no fooling around here. Let's get it done, everyone. Hey, Omi?
Yeah, see, that's how...
I don't roar a lot, but... So, I know, but the thing is that you get angry too often. And you also are not following through. Do you understand? Make sure you don't say anything that you're not going to follow through with. So don't say anything at all. Just say I'm going to be out in the car and leave 10 minutes early. Just give that a shot for 2 weeks and then come back on Braveheart and tell us how we did.
Okay.
Okay? And then you're going to go out and you're going to use that for 10-minute meditation or prayer or quiet time that you hardly ever do for yourself. And now you're getting something out of it too. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like, what would 10 minutes in the car feel like by just sitting there quiet, peaceful, right?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other
one
thing is
question
she's
that I have with that,
she's 7 years old and she's got a mind of her own, and she wants you to know that she's growing up and she's not going to do everything you say. Right?
I think she's listening to all of this on the computer in the other room. I just remembered.
Well, that's okay that she did, but understand something. If she stays like this, then she's going to have dysfunctional relationships with her friends and with all her boyfriends and even her husband. This is how it starts.
Right.
I used to tell all my children, I said this, the way you treat me and your mother is the way you're going to treat your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife someday. So ask yourself, is that the type of relationship you want?
Right.
And I would just leave it alone, because really that is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
I had that discussion.
What?
I had a discussion with her earlier today when this was happening, and I said, Landy, do you know that love is the answer, right? We've been talking about how it's important to love each other and stuff like that. And when we get frustrated and I act in an unloving way to you, or you act in an unloving way to me, then that's not getting us anywhere, right? And she said, right. And I said, okay, so when we react to each other, we need to act in a loving manner.
Yeah, but you need to understand that you've got to get her to understand about the subconscious being 90% of the brain. And you both just went and, okay, so I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible. All families have pain body programs. You have actually subconsciously contracted your daughter to make you angry.
Mm-hmm.
To keep the program running. Remember something, your subconscious doesn't care if it's a healing program or a destructive program. So, look at that. It's 3:15. It's time to piss mommy off. That's what she needs.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's the truth.
Right.
So your subconscious actually created that in her subconscious. Well, where else would she have got it from?
Right. I
Okay.
agree.
So
I
you
didn't know how to stop it.
But there's no guilt here. Well, you know what you do? You're creative. Everything you do in a loving way. I'm not saying that I don't roar, okay? So like I said, when I roar, it's short. Everybody knows, no more funny business, right? But you got to do it at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? The subconscious will rule people to the point that we know that suicides have doubled with young people. You do know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why it's going down. And and because most adults are adulterated, they're in a stupor. I mean, I can't even believe the parents today. And I really can't. And you know what? But what I can believe it, but because the corporations and the media and the government, they've all gotten smarter at their manipulation games. But the thing is we were given a brain. It's like, when things aren't great, when you're told that you live in the land of the free and the brave, and where everything is possible. Meanwhile, we've never been so sick, and people have never felt so alone in a crowd. So just know this, there's a game going on. And even talk to her like that. You know that this is just our subconscious playing games on me and you. So, just, you got to talk to her. Just communicate with her. Treat her like an adult, okay? But always play and love her totally. Just totally. But treat her like an adult. I got to tell you that children do not like to be treated like children or pets. And I mean, we're going to abuse pets either. But I'm trying to tell you that they're not second-class citizens. And I'm not saying you do it, but I can hardly go anywhere where adults don't treat their children like second-class citizens.
Exactly.
And you know what? We don't realize it. So why don't you look at her, okay, as someone older that you respect? And they're going to say, I respect her. And I go, no, I need you to respect her more. And I understand that she's there to help you grow, evolve, and then figure out a loving way where you still hold the loving line, and let her know that the relationship that you have isn't where you want it. You want that beautiful relationship where you're both equals, but because you're her mother, you've been around longer, you would like to show her the ropes of being on this planet because you love her so much.
And I think that's why this is all kind of coming to the head, because in the last couple of years I've been really working on, doing things in a better way and stuff, and so this is kind of coming to, this is just one more thing that's kind of coming to a head that I've got to deal with.
So basically it all comes down to this. Stenell, start the car!
Yeah. Okay, so let me tell you what I hear you saying. Okay, so let's say I've got an appointment in the morning. I've got to be there at 10 o'clock. So she gets up about 7:30. I'm already up. I'm doing my meditation stuff and prayer. And I tell her good morning and give her a hug and tell her, I usually tell her, how great it is to have her there with me, and that I'm happy to see her smiling face and what a beautiful day it is and all that. And then usually have some prayer and Bible time together, and then we go in and I say, okay, we have an appointment at 10 o'clock, so that means we'll have to do this, this, and this by this time, and so I'll need you to do this, this, and this. And just give her a list of things that she needs to do to get out, and then just leave it to her, and then help her when I need to.
To a certain degree, but I don't think you're leaving her enough time. You know what? I'll be honest with you, Stenell. You know that I kind of know you a little bit, right? And I guarantee you that you're trying to jam in too much for the little girl. She wants to get up, relax, take it easy. She wants to play a little bit. And you've got her just jammed with stuff. So why don't you just try to pull some of that stuff out of there and give her a little bit more room to breathe? Because, honestly, look, you're a wonderful, beautiful mother, and I know that. But the thing is that in your subconscious, you say, the more I get done today, the more successful I am. The harder I work, the more successful. The faster I go, the more successful. And I know you've been working on that. Mm-hmm. But the thing is she doesn't want your program. Mm-hmm. And she's resisting.
Right, that's true.
So why don't you just back, can I say this nicely? Why don't you just back off? Why don't you just let her be a little girl in the morning, let her get her food, and let her take twice the time, and don't put so much stuff in there. Because you're just trying to create what you're trying to get. What you're trying to change in you, you're trying to create in her. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, then guess what? I'll tell you right now. You're lucky that's all she does. Hey, listen, you'd rebel too.
Yeah.
Okay? Enough already. Okay? I want to get up. I just want to enjoy myself, right? To a certain degree. I don't want to rush, jump in the car, go to school. Go here, or not school, but go here, go there.
Well, see, that's the other part of it. Is we usually are just home. I don't really like to go places. I like to be home and just do whatever we do here, just play or do the horses or whatever. But I was wondering if it's because we usually are at home just kind of moseying around, and then when we have to get down to, we've got to be somewhere at a certain time.
Well, then guess what? Then you better make it exciting, okay? If you're going to homeschool someone, you know, they can get pretty comfortable and they're almost isolated sometimes, you know, and I know that. But that's why people that homeschool make sure their children are out and playing with children, other children, and getting involved a lot. So if you're not going out a lot, then of course, you know, if you don't practice it, well, how is she ever going to get used to it?
Right. Well, that's why I was going like I would go to the story time and do stuff with other kids and stuff, but it's just.
Okay, so here's the deal.
It's just hard when.
Why don't we just start here, okay? Because we could be here all day unless we just take action and play with it. We're not always going to be right. So make sure you give her more time, okay? Just try to give her a little bit more time. And then just say, I'll be waiting in the car. And then go out to the car. Okay. All right? Let's try that, okay? And understand something. You did okay it that you know that you usually get her doing too many things, right?
Correct.
Okay, how old is she?
She's 7.
And when you're 7, what is the main thing you want to do?
Play.
Okay, so understand, don't you ever forget that she's 7 years old.
Right.
And you're going to say, I don't, and I'm going to say, yes, you do.
No, I do. I even admitted that to her. I talked about that to her the other day, and that I was working on that, and I wanted her to be able to be a little girl and play.
I know, but guess what? If she doesn't rebel right now in some way to you, you're going to choke her.
Right. Okay. So I'll do what you suggested, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, try that, and then let's see. Give it 2 weeks, and then let's talk about it. Okay. But just think about the things I said, because I'm not saying my answers are right, but at least it stirred things up a little bit, and then you'll find your way, right?
Absolutely. I appreciate that. That's good, because I was just feeling stuck.
No, but you're not stuck. You're exactly where you need to be, okay? And what you're doing right now is you're finding boundaries. As she grows up, she's going to be telling you boundaries, and you need to see if she's just testing you or if you're just pushing too hard on her.
Right.
Hey, nobody said it was going to be easy, but you said you could come down here and play this game.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So she's going from the age of, you know, a little girl that just does what you say to having, you know, she's got her own brain, and I want to encourage that. But at the same time, I have to set boundaries. So it's kind of a tricky age.
Well, it's not really. It's not really. There's certain things that our children need to do, because to help the household, we all work together as a team. But then you need to think whether or not she's really responsible to do that job you just told her. And if you're just trying to be like your daddy was to you or your mommy. So are you just trying to pass on the family curse or the family blessing? Which one? You need to decide that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. I will work on that, and I'll get back to you on that.
Well,
can I ask you a
please.
physical question?
Yeah, and then we'll have to wrap it. But go ahead.
Okay. Do you know what leukopenia is? Leukopenia.
No, I've heard of it before. Is it skin?
Well, I'm not sure. I know it has to do with the white blood cells being low and.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, I'd have to know more about the condition. But what's going on?
Well, I just know somebody who say they have that, and I don't really know anything about it. And I was just going to ask you if you knew much about it. And I mean, of course, I know the answers are the same thing: just detox the body and
well,
eat it and
no, the answers are detox. But the thing is that it sounds like there's a deficiency here, more than there could be maybe a toxic problem. You know, everything is about detox. Sometimes I just go, whoa. It's not just about that. It's not just about detox. You know, maybe there's a deficiency problem. You know, and yes, but it's not. If we can detox the habits, you know that our body's mainly made out of detox organs, right? So it's not so much that we can't detox a lot of this stuff. It's just that the stuff that's coming in is tearing us apart. So if we're eating things that are absent with light, sunlight, or absent with vitamins or minerals or coenzymes or essential fatty acids, then we start getting ourselves into trouble, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going to tell you something. I can't even keep up with the diseases. Somebody told me the other day that now there's stage 5 cancer. So, you know, everybody just, you do know that everybody made everything up. You do know that almost everything in science has been proven to be wrong after a few years. You do know that, right? You do know that Louis Pasteur lied about all his findings about the bacteria, right? You do know that the guy who discovered the AIDS virus, actually, I think he went to jail because he actually lied and they never ever really found the AIDS virus, HIV virus. You can go online and actually see that. So the thing is this, the medical system is going to continually make up so many diseases that can be restored by just whole living, okay? And I'm not discounting everything, but there's a pill for every ill now. And remember when they didn't believe in fibromyalgia, and now they've got drugs for it. So they'll always tell you something doesn't exist for a long time until they can come up with a drug that will treat this new symptom. So the whole thing is fraudulent, okay?
Right,
so,
then they just rename it.
Yeah, so, you know, and I will tell you that most of the people that you come into contact with are not going to embrace what you're doing, at least that I can see right now. I mean, that may change, and God, I hope it does. And the other thing is nobody hardly has any interest in what goes on in their mind or how their body functions or what should go in their mouth or their mind or come out the other end. So that can be the frustrating thing. So, yeah. I would just make sure when you are wanting to be a practitioner that you are magnetizing to the right type of patients that you want, okay? So I can remember when I was younger, when I first started this, I was a really good person, but I don't think I had very much self-love for myself. And I just said, you know, bring me anybody and everybody, you know? And even people who don't want to get well, I want the challenge, you know. So the reality is today I don't want anybody coming to me that does not truly want to learn how to love themselves and to actually heal themselves. And because their potential is so amazing, the human body, the human mind. But I'm not looking for how busy I can get. I'm looking to help those people who are really looking for this. So just make sure that when you're talking to people and you're going to work with people, that you set some standards for yourself. Or it can become very frustrating trying to help people who basically don't believe in you, don't believe in your philosophy, or the disease that they have is actually become a frenemy. It's actually become a friend of them. Mm-hmm. You know, I've had people come to me and I said, well, they'll say, well, you know, I'm on disability. And I go, I had a guy here that's on disability, and he was just here for a personal treatment and training. He came to stay with us. And he could only walk on his toes. He was in a really bad accident. So he could only walk on his toes. He couldn't put his heels down. And they told him he wouldn't be able to walk again. He's mainly in a wheelchair. So within the few days that he was here, we had his feet flat on the floor, Stenell, and we had him walking that he could actually walk, because before he couldn't move his legs properly to get them to go forward. And I actually have a video of him walking. And I said, listen, you know, you really need to keep this up, and I'd like to see you come back. And he says, you know what he said to me? You ready? I hope you're ready for this.
You would have to get rid of his disability.
Dr. Wolfe, I can't come back there because if they find out I'm there and I'm walking, I'll lose my disability. I'm getting 95% of my wage for the rest of my life because it was an on-the-job accident. And then I didn't know what to say to him. He said, I just got a new boat.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, and he says, this gives me so much time. I can go fishing and I can go on my boat whenever I want. And, yeah. And he says, and I get around in my electric wheelchair. What would happen if I started walking to the Legion? Okay. Anyways, I think you understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what? There's no good and bad. I don't consider somebody good or bad. You know, he's just got some dysfunctional beliefs, but for him, they're functional because he says, I'd rather sacrifice walking again and working for what I got. And there it is.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Stanell.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you hear me ask you about building white blood cells, rebuilding them?
Did I hear you? What?
Did you hear me say something about
No.
when you rebuild white blood cells, that's just basically rebuilding your immune system? Is that correct?
Oh yeah, yeah. You need your red blood cells, and you need healthy blood cells. But you know, you really need to take a look at the water the person's drinking, what inflammatory foods they could be on. Are they actually doing something where they're cleansing? I guarantee their bowels backed up. They've got a cork in there, or they have just blistering diarrhea. So because you can't have that kind of upset in there. The next thing is I would get them on our black gold humic fulvic right away. And I would also get them on our Pinot product so that it goes in, gets rid of any heavy metals, crosses the blood-brain barrier. You know, and I would get them on the curcumin cayenne. And I would get them on the whole plant-based diet. I would have them take a look at, tell them to go to the Perfect Day and read the Perfect Day manual and take a look at what a perfect day looks like or as close to it, and then help them to calculate and to make a better one. You know, remember something, Stanell. Everything that I taught you, we cannot hurt anyone. We're not going to hurt anyone. You're just going to make them better. So just gentle baby steps, start moving forward, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, she is doing many of the things that we've taught her.
Pardon? I can't hear you.
They say she's got low white blood cells, and then she's got this LEUKOPENIA.
Okay, first of all, she's got white blood cells. You know that she's exhausted. Okay, she can't create the white army that she needs to go in and clean up the mess, right?
Right.
First of all, you know what? What they say to a certain degree matters, but the thing is if we just put her on a well-balanced diet and we teach her the 12 self-loving steps, you know this is going to change. Okay, Stanell, I've never had anybody with any condition that didn't change within 36 hours and started making a change. Right. And you could see it right in lab reports, blood reports. So, you know what? Everything's a drama with the medical system. Isn't everything a drama? Right. Everything's a drama. And it's got to happen right now. It's got to happen right now. Listen to the lady that was on the show this morning. Okay? She burnt her hand and she had a blister. Okay? And they knocked her down with antibiotics. Okay? And what else did they do? They gave her a tetanus shot, which didn't do anything for her. So that means that she's okay for her next dog bite. Maybe. So understand something. Yeah. The whole thing is insane. So I have a real hard time even talking about stuff like this because I don't even know because Stanell, I don't even know what's true anymore. So you're not sure about the person. You don't know about the person. We get some information from the medical system. It gets put onto you hearsay. Oh, please. You know, life can be insane.
That's why I wanted to mention this name to you because I had never heard it. And you know, I've been started to work with this person. And that's why I wanted to get your opinion on that because I didn't know what it was. Yeah,
but you have to understand something. I don't know either. And I'm not supposed to know every disease. And if I was, that means that all I wanted... Oh, hold on. That means that all I do is study diseases and understand something. The more chemicals and the more drugs, okay, and the more stress they create out here in our environment, the more they're going to change our terrain and make our terrain sicker. And when they introduce chemicals, new chemicals into our environment, that creates a different environment. So now we're going to have a different viral, different bacterial, or a different type of fungal, or a different type of worm squirming in us. Because there's only parasitical attack that brings you down. So it's one of these four. And usually when you have one bad enough, the other three come along for the parasite party. So I need to tell you this, that if I wrap my head and tried to figure out the language of the medical system, I would go nuts. They don't even understand it.
Right.
And we usually find that with, guess what? In my health stuff, the same stuff that was true 37 years ago when I started is still true today. And in the medical system, none of it is the same anymore. and they found out it wasn't right. And they're going to find out it isn't right. Because listen to me. If you can't understand it, Stenell, then it's a lie. If you can't understand it, Stenell, it's fraudulent. And if it's complicated, understand even the doctors don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have any doctor come on. Any doctor's welcome to come on my show anytime and tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. But I definitely like to explain their theory on how they've improved the North American population. And why is it that when a hospital goes on strike, the people in the area, there's less deaths and less people getting hurt? Okay, I'm done. I don't even like going down this road. I like to stay in my own territory, and my territory is this. Love's not the answer. Self-love is the cure. And if we don't do that, we won't be self-aware. There'll be no self-care. And if there's no self-care, then nobody's going to care, because nobody else knows how to care for themselves. So how can they care for you? And a lot of people that are actually in healthcare can't even care for themselves, but we're going to expect them to care for us?
Right.
All right.
So you just answered. I mean, when people come to you with this big old name of something, it doesn't really matter what the big old name is.
Let me tell you
I don't have to worry
something.
about that.
Do you know the best way that I could make you feel stupid, Stenell? Come up with words that you don't know.
Yeah.
And guess what? We're not the stupid ones. So why would you ever want to come up with words? And every drug they have, you can hardly say it. And every condition, okay, it's got to be in Greek. Why? Mm-hmm. Because you're supposed to be left in the dark, and they're so much smarter than us. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have to end this, because the thing is I really want to, feel not bad about the medical system. I want to feel good about helping people. So we'll just leave this topic alone, and we'll call it a day. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
I appreciate you.
All right, Stenell. So guess what, Stenell?
I appreciate you so much.
So guess what? Start the car, okay?
I'm going to start the car.
Okay, and you got this, girl. And let's talk about it in 2 weeks, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Have a beautiful night.
You too.
Bye. We have one more caller? Okay, that'll have to be it then. Because I'm sure that people are wanting to go have supper and wanting to move on. Okay? All right. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, it's Catherine Campbell.
Hi.
Hi, I've been listening to you and just wondering, what can I do other than what I've been doing, eating vegetables and fruits.
Okay, Catherine, I have to be honest with you, okay? You're going to have to call me tomorrow, and we will deal with this tomorrow, okay? Because, oh no, is the time good? Are we good still? Okay, we're good. Huh?
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, we're good. All right, so let's do this, Catherine. It's me and you. He said we're fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Wonderful.
Catherine, you can't come from just, I've been eating vegetables. So what we need to do, we're not going to do a whole blown out consultation right now. But let's tell me what's going on with you first, okay?
Well, I was diagnosed with primary progressive MS.
Okay.
And my whole body is weak. I'm bloated. I am not being able to.
Okay, can we stop? Okay, if you don't mind, I don't want to cut you off, but we need to stop every little piece so that I can explain. So the weakness is because, and you said you were bloated, right? Well, anybody that's bloated is going to be weak because the bloat is actually your good bacteria have turned into bad bacteria, and instead of emitting, okay, things that are nice messages to your brain, instead of emitting byproducts into the bowel that actually help to feed and create more bacteria, healthy ones, bad bacteria create heavy-duty toxins. They also relay negative messages to the brain. So they can create things like anxiety, depression, frustration, not being clear, foggy, okay? Okay, so that is what happens. So you have to get a handle on your large intestine, which is your core, which means you have got to turn around those bacteria. Now, a lot of people will dump tons of bacteria into them. We've gone bacteria crazy too. You know, just eating really good will help to create the vegetables and the fruits will become fermented. And those fermented fruits and vegetables will almost like decompose when they get to the large intestine in a way. And that's what creates all this great bacteria. That's why we want the fresh and raw, the fruits and the veggies and things like a little bit of maybe sauerkraut or things of that nature. Now, but we can't overdo it. If you've got MS, you probably have very poor digestion because your digestive tract is weak. So even things that are like cauliflower, broccoli, they're way too hard to digest. Even nightshades could bother you. So, you know, leafy greens would be okay. Things that would be easier to digest are going to be okay. Like I would have a person in a situation like this on liquids that are very high in nutrition, high vibrational liquids. Okay, whether it would be juicing or it would be like the Zija plant moringa protein that we carry, or it would be like the Smart Mix, okay, that has no sugar in it, just stevia, but it's got a high concentrate of moringa in it. So things that you can just bring into your body on a constant to bring up your vibratory level. But the other thing I'd be looking at is I'd be looking at our black gold, because our black gold humic fulvic is the smallest molecular size of any humic fulvic on the planet, for one thing. It's got the highest vibrational content, but what it has is 60 different nutrients that will feed the good bacteria. Feed the bacteria so that they change over, right? You got to heal your bacteria to heal you. So they need good food to heal them. You need to have your digestive tract moving every day in a good way because you can't back up any waste. Because I'll tell you right now, in my research, in my training, I truly believe that MS gets its foothold from your large intestine, from the off balance in your large intestine. Okay? So remember something, everything is frequency in the body. So if I was dealing with somebody with MS, I would tell them if their finances were good, you know, you have to understand that everything, all nutrients, all liquids, all foods leave the body. The only thing that stays behind is frequency. So I would be telling someone like that to get a Bioptron and to also look at an amp coil, because we want to get lots of healing frequencies into the body. And I already told you about the humic fulvic. Get on the curcumin cayenne, the daily cleansing tea. We don't want to overwhelm you, but we want to go in there and buffer down this stuff gently and get the nutrition up. So we want to make sure you're on structured water and you're drinking a lot of it, even though it might be harder for you to go to the bathroom. Remember, you're not up and moving around. If you are sweating, it's because you're creating a fever in your body and you're sweating. You're not sweating because you're exercising. And I guarantee you...
I'm not sweating at all.
I know, because your lymph is backed up. And that's because your bowel's backed up. Your bowel backs up and doesn't allow your lymph to dump, so you back up your lymph. And now that's going to cause lots of troubles in the groin for your ovaries and uterus, and it's going to cause lots of breast issues because now you're packing up the toxins in your under your arm. If you feel under your arm and it feels like you've got a bit of a fatty deposit under your arm, that's not a fatty deposit. That's because of the toxin been backing up for so long. If you feel like your breasts are kind of painful sometimes, that's because they're dumping all the toxins from the lymph is going into your breasts. Okay, and then if you've got calcium deposits, that's not great. So, and if you start getting really lumpy breasts, that's not great either. We're getting the lumpy breasts because of the scar tissue and creating more fatty deposits, but they're more cellulite fatty deposits because they have a more concentrated toxin in them. So that the whole ideal here is balance. Some people will do way too much detoxification. I know I call myself the Doc of Detox, but I don't believe in deep cleanses. I don't believe in them at all. Okay? I believe in coffee enemas, and I'll tell you, if you want to really help your liver, then you'll do the daily cleansing too, and then you'll get into doing coffee enemas. And when you do the coffee enema, you'll use our black gold humic fulvic. You'll put a teaspoon in with your enema, and guess what? The coffee will trigger the liver, the toxins will start to dump by the liver, and the humic fulvic will actually cross into there and help to support the liver. But it picks up any type of heavy metals, chemicals, and it works against bad bacteria and viruses and even worms. When the worms take the humic fulvic, it actually slices them, okay? Because it's hard little small particles, and it goes in like glass and it cuts them apart. Trust me, it doesn't hurt the human body. It's the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen. It actually delivers nutrients, but it actually takes away the toxins. And that's really the best marriage of all. So I'd have you look at that. I'd also have you look at the pineal product that we have, because I would want to cross the blood-brain barrier, make sure that we're pulling out the mercury, the other heavy metals, okay? And the pineal product will also decalcify the pineal gland. And then the other thing I would put you on is ATP. It's called ATP, and it's our humic fulvic product, but it's got ATP in it. And what it does is it will give you ATP, but it also triggers the mitochondria to make more ATP. And if you know about the cell, that is the brains of the cell. So I'm not going to do a ton of things on you. I want to do things that are going to be really loving in the way that we detoxify, because I don't want you to do any deep cleanses to dump out your toxins too fast, because you're already tired, your organs are already overloaded, and it's just going to backfire in your face.
Okay, and I just ordered your tea. 3 months worth, and I guess I'm going to start with that.
Well, you mean, okay, well then guess what? You haven't even got the party started. Because until you get the cork out of the wine bottle, things aren't going to happen here. All right? Remember something. Here's your large intestine, which is your immune system, 80% of it, and it's in huge trouble. So why is anything even going to turn around? So I'm trying to tell you.
So that's not a good start. I shouldn't get that. What's the best thing
No. The tea is a really good start, but it's not going to be enough. You've been backing up for so long. Now, I do want you to know that none of this is your fault, but it is your responsibility to get your health back, because that's the game down here, that you're going to be lied to, okay? And that you're going to go down the wrong path. The problem is we don't want to go down too far. We can't get back. That's the adventure. And I know people think I'm crazy right now, but we've all lost our way, and then we got to find our way, and then we got to rise from the ashes like the phoenix and save our butt. And I'll tell you something, I'm with you. I'll work with you. And I mean that, okay? That's all I can say.
Okay, what would you suggest? What else can I do that goes with this tea?
I just said to do the humic fulvic with it, the black gold, the powder. Okay? And I would I'd also be mixing
those two?
Pardon?
The two together?
Yes, love. And I'd also mix them with my water. Okay?
Okay. I can't afford the water.
No. I said to mix it with your...
$100.
Okay. I said to mix it with your water.
Okay. I've got the reverse osmosis. I'll mix it with that.
Yeah, that's fine. But reverse osmosis is not real water. That's like not great. So do put the humic fulvic in there. It's really going to help it. But I'm going to tell you something. Where in nature do you find reverse osmosis water?
I don't know. Nowhere.
That's right. And that's why we're not supposed to be drinking it. Because the problem is that when you're taking it, and we already know that your digestive tract is already been weakened, okay? And that you don't have a lot of energy going on. How are you ever going to take that apart? You do know that there's like 3,000 to 3,500 molecules that are stuck together in a drop of water. And your body has to pull those apart. And then the molecules go like a choo-choo train, one droplet at a time, in through what we call the aquaporin in the cell. And that has to be all pulled apart. That you have to have the energy to do that. And the body, when somebody has a chronic problem, they need to have their water structured so that it has no surface tension, so that it can pick up all this nutrition, carry it in efficiently, and then dump off the nutrition, and then pick up the toxins and bring it out. Reverse osmosis, it cannot do that properly. It's impossible. When you drink reverse osmosis water, it's like drinking a lead cake. That tells you. I mean, you're drinking water. It feels like you did a meal with one glass. Whereas I could drink a bottle of structured water, and guess what? I don't even know I got it in my tummy. So, and that's what we're going to be talking to with Clayton Knowlton tomorrow night at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on DocStar TV and on Facebook and YouTube. And I'm not telling you you've got to buy one of these. So just start where you can and know that you can call me. And we're going to keep moving forward. And remember something. Our goal is to help you and just make sure that you believe in yourself. That's it. Just believe in yourself and keep moving forward. And don't try to create barriers. I can't have this and I can't do that. You don't need to tell me that you can't buy something. You just don't need to bring it up. Okay? I'm not trying to sell you anything. When you ask me what you should do, I'm going to tell you. Then you're going to order only what you can afford. Okay? Because what people like to do is, I can't afford that. I can't afford. Well, then, you know, I don't want you to do that. It's not about me. I don't mind listening to it. But don't tell your subconscious that. Don't be saying out loud, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I can't do this. I can't do that. Don't keep it to yourself. And don't even say it out loud. Because when you say it out loud, it will stay there. And you will never get the structure unit. Or you will never get walking. Or you'll never get what you need. Because the mind is the most powerful thing you'll ever have. And remember what I said? The superpowers on this planet is your emotions.
Right.
Okay?
Right. And how can I get your water?
Well, we can talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, because I don't want, you can call me and I'll talk about that. Because you know what? I'm going to go to a certain point, but I don't want, we have new people on here, and I want them to understand that this show is about answering questions. And of course, we're going to sell product. That's how we stay open. That's how I got Omi over there, working everything. And I've got Peter working the IT and Jack working the graphics. And I got Valerie answering the phones. And then I've got a whole group of people out of Toronto that are working for me. And then I've got Raphael that, oh my gosh, if you knew the team that, but anyways.
That's great.
A step at a time, sweetheart. And just know this. All
right, well.
Just know this.
Let's go ahead and.
I know, but listen to me. Listen to me. What do you deserve? What do you deserve?
I need those two things that you had said.
Yes, I know, but what do you deserve?
Everything.
Okay, so now I want you to picture everything that you need to get well. And I want you to just go to bed tonight, and I want you to thank your Creator for bringing that to you, or something even better, because you are the goddess of everything.
Yes.
And if you can't afford something...
I have one more question. How about vitiligo?
Well, that's it's created from the intestines again.
Intestines.
Yeah, I you know what? It's like, oh my gosh, does Dr. Wolfe even know anything? Every time somebody asks him a question, he goes...
he knows a lot.
Okay. It's from your intestines.
A lot more.
What about what?
Vitiligo.
Yes, I already told you that. I said it's about your bacteria. It's about your intestines.
So the same thing I would do, my 9-year young would do the same thing.
Yes, that's right. That's right. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. Age does not make a difference. Okay? Believe it or not, you know, we're all made the same. We all have different beliefs. I understand that. And our conditions are created because of our different beliefs. But if we can erase and replace our beliefs, and if we can restore alignment and balance first in our large intestine, then let's go from there. Okay? One step at a time.
Okay. Yes. Okay. That's great. Okay, I need to go ahead and get that other stuff.
Yeah, and then when you get the product, please call me, okay?
Okay, thank you so much. And what number can I call to order that also?
855 900
Okay.
4544.
4544.
Yeah.
Okay, I will get that with my other order. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you for calling.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, love. You know, we never know what's going on in someone's life. We don't know their struggles, you know? We don't really know what's going on in someone's life. Some people you do because, you know, they let the whole world know, don't they? And then there's other people that just suffer in silence, you know? I've talked to her before, and I'll tell you one thing. She's a beautiful person, you know? And some people are so darling and so sweet, and they have been, you know, haven't been done by it very well by certain factors, you know, but we'll do what we can for her. And just know this, we have the power to heal. We got to stop giving our power away. And like I say, the Braveheart Oath, today and every day, I will respect, protect, honor, trust, and love myself first and foremost before anything else or anyone else. So help me God, because I can, I will. All right? So how we doing there? Okay? No questions? Okay. So everybody, we did the 2 hours this morning, and we've had a great afternoon. I want to thank everybody for participating. The people that call here and ask questions, they're the real Braveheart warriors, okay? And I want you to understand something, that I will always do my best, and I understand, you know, you're doing your best right now, and just know this, you can't do better until you know better. And when you came down to this planet, you were given not just a manual that didn't work, you were actually given a manual that was actually based on self-hate programs. So just know this, forget everything you've been taught, okay? Empty out your mind, fill up your heart, and feed your spirit, and that's a really good start, okay? If you haven't checked out my Braveheart Library, then go please check that out, braveheartlibrary.com. We'll see you tomorrow night if you can make it. And if you can't make it, the shows go up on DocStar TV. They go on Facebook. They go on YouTube. And we have lots of channels where the audios are just there. And you can actually download the audios now. Okay? So, Omi, can we get that information on by tomorrow night? And I can let everybody know what radio show platforms they are, or where they go to download any show if they want to put it on their iPod phone, so that they can start doing that?
Yes.
Okay, we'll start doing that tomorrow. You know what? We're just trying to keep up, and we're trying to create protocols and systems for everybody. And listen, together we can go touch the world in a beautiful way. All right? Thank you for joining me today, and just have the best night of your life. Good night now.